definitely some calls that were very, very questionable and very unusual. You don't really see those type of calls, consecutive calls, in the fourth quarter when a team is making a run. And I've never seen an actual call that was called on me ever in an NBA game in 13 years. I don't know exactly how to jump off one leg without raising your other leg. It's just a natural movement. I've never seen somebody drive to the basket and jump off two legs without actually coming to a full stop. So I guess that's one of the things I gotta go home and do some homework on. The amount of times that call has been made, and is that even a call that should be made? So, but it was some calls that were definitely questionable at the end of the game. But it's a lot of things that going before that. Like getting stops and holding teams to one shot and out. We put ourselves in a predicament where we had to try to put together a run at the end of the game. And you can say whatever you want to say about calls, but at the end of the day, we have to do our job a little bit better, especially right now when some emphasis put on this game. But every game right now is an important game for us because we played almost 50 games, and that's our time is running out.
This is obviously one of those games that could have lessened the gap between you and where you need to be. Did you expect to get better effort out of everyone?
Well, we just not in a great position not to have the effort. We were 35-9, something like that. Then we can afford to have games like this, but it's disappointing. Considering we just came out three games that we played fairly well, and a game that was really really important for us. To kind of cut the lead as far as games back. For a playoff position. But our job is a little bit harder. So that's what we get paid for, and we got to really roll our sleeves up to make this work. No game is at this point. No game is even more important than the next game. Every game is very, very important for us if we want to make some type of a run.
Run us through what happened at the end there.
Well, it was some plays where I think AP got hit pretty hard. And it was almost like three consecutive plays, and you would have thought that he would have got one of the calls, and he didn't get the call. And I just the guy came down in the middle of the lane and felt like I needed to give a foul. And he thought it was a flagrant foul, but I just thought it was a hard foul, and that's just really what it is. I think in order to really for a team to come together, the team has to know that every player has their back. And I didn't particularly like the way AP hit the floor on three different occasions on one possession, and that was something you would have thought that since they were calling the calls where they were calling against us, CB got a call that was a touch foul, that was an unbelievable offensive foul. You would have thought that they gave him one of the three. It's kind of pick which offensive foul you want to give, Milwaukee, but it didn't happen that way. And he came down the lane. I just I felt like I needed to foul and give a hard foul, and they thought it was a flagrant foul. So or whatever it was, I don't know. I don't even know whether it was even a flagrant foul, but that's just a part of the game.
Charlie V obviously took a little exception to that as well.
Charlie doesn't wear enough. Bottom line, doesn't wear enough. And you can be tough, when the camera's on. The camera's control and the ref controls the game. But at the end of the day, he just does not wear enough to speak to me in any kind of way.